Hello Year 3. This week we're going to be doing a bit of recap on the column method and working out some missing number problems and some balancing problems together. So this is a bit of an interactive video, so you will need to be doing the work along with me. So you will need some paper, you will need a pencil or a pen if you don't have a pencil, and a ruler if you can find one, but I'll let you off if you can't find a ruler. So you're going to be doing the column method for the questions as we go along, and there will be moments where you'll be pausing and playing and pausing and playing so that you can do it with me. Okay, so when you're ready, when you've gathered all the bits you need, click play and we'll get started. Okay, so this is the first missing number problem we're looking at. The numbers are quite simple in this problem, mainly just because I want to be able to just to go over the process and what it means, and then we'll complete some more after that. So remember, you'll need paper and a pencil or pen and a ruler if you have one, so that you can do these along with me. So in this question we've got 13 add something, add 27 equals 62. So I've got a bar model here to illustrate this problem. So we've got 62 as our total, that goes at the top, that's our total. And then we've got 13 and something and 27. So there's actually three parts. There's three numbers that will add up to make 62. So we know we've got 13. We know we've got 27, but we're working out the third and final piece. Okay. So to work this out to start with, there's two steps to work this out. First of all, we need to work out what the total of these two pieces are here, so that we've got this bit becomes one bit, and then we'll be able to work out what's left to make 62. So the first part is going to be adding the two bits that we already have. And then what we're going to need to do is, with the total of this bit, we can subtract it from the final total and it will tell us what is left there. The other way of doing it is, once we've got our total here, we can count on till we get to 62, and again it will tell us what the final piece is there. So the first thing we need to do is add up 13 and 27. Now you can probably do this in your head very easily. So we've got a number 1 to 10 there in the units. I'm going to work it out just very quickly in the column method, just to lay it out and demonstrate, just as a bit of a reminder, because we're going to be using the column method a lot today. But if you can work this out in your head, then go ahead and do that. So I'm going to write it down quite quickly, and while I'm doing that, you can pause and make sure you've got the total as well, and see if you can beat me to it. Right, so did you get 40? I hope you did. So now we've got 40. We know that these two parts make 40, and now we need to work out the rest of it. So what do you add on to 40 to make 62? Or we can do 62 take away 40. Okay, so again, I'm going to work that out in the column method. I don't need to, because it's nice and easy, but I'm just going to write it out one more time just so that we can see how the column method is laid out to remind you. See if you can beat me to the answer. So the answer is 22, of course. So 22 is the missing piece. Those three numbers add up to make 62, which means our missing number up here, we can put 22 in, and there we have solved the question. Now I'm going to show you three more missing number problems to get us started, and in between each one you're going to work it out and then see if your answer matches mine. So let's have a look at those now. So this is the first of our next three missing number problems we're looking at. So we've got here 279 add something equals 350. So again, I'm going to put the information in a bar model because that helps us to visualise what it's asking. So we know that 279 add something will give us the total of 350. So I'll put in the total at the top in the total bar. And then we've got 279 and something else. Okay, so how could we work this out? What are we going to do? So one way of working it out is to count on from 279. But I want us to use our column method a lot today because it's really good to practice the column method, and a lot of you know it absolutely perfectly, but sometimes if you haven't done it for a while, it's easy to forget it. So let's try and use our column method on every question today. So instead of counting up, we can subtract. So if we take our total, if we take away this part that we have, it will leave us with the remaining part that we've got here. Okay, remember that addition and subtraction are linked in a little relationship, a little family. They are the opposite of each other. They are inverse operations. And so they are linked as one. And remember, we can use the fact triangles to help us work it out. Now, we don't know the final part at the moment, but what we can do is we can do the 350 take away the 279 and it will give us that final piece. So we're going to do this in the column method. Again, please pause. I'd like you to work it out. So we're going to work out 350 take away 279. Okay, now this one is interesting because we've got a 0 here in the unit, so you need to think carefully about what you do. Now, if you're using the condensed column method, which I know some of you are, that's absolutely fine. But as I always say, only use it if you're absolutely sure on how to do it properly. So pause the video, then click play once you've done it. I will run through the method quickly and we'll see if we've got the same answer. Okay, so pause now, your turn to work it out, then you can watch me doing it. Right, so the final answer was 71. So we had to exchange from the tens to help the units, and then we had to exchange from the hundreds to help the tens. So that one was quite messy, but I hope you got it right. If you didn't, don't worry, just have a look and see what I've done here. Okay, so I've exchanged a 10, so I've made 50 to 40 and put the 10 with the 0, which just made 10. So that I could do the units subtraction, and then I couldn't do 40 take away 70, so I used one of the hundreds, so I made 140 take away 70, and then I was left with just 200 take away 200. All right, so if you didn't get that right, don't worry, I'm sure with the next one you will. So the answer was 71. Let's have a look at the next problem. Here is our next one. 480 take away something is 271. So again, I'm going to put the information in the bar model. So we've got 480 take away something is 271. Now, often we look at the equals amounts here and that goes at the top, but actually this is not two things added together is 271. This question is actually saying if we start with 480, when we take something away, we get 271. So the biggest number there, the total is actually what we've started with. And so when you've got a subtraction, you put that number first. And we are taking away something and we are left with 271. Okay, so remember, just like our fact triangle from before, we've got 480 at the top, taking away 271, and then we've got a piece that we need to work out. So we can't take away nothing in the column method. We can't have the answer at the bottom and have nothing in the middle section, because that won't work. So instead of doing 480 take away something that we don't know, we're going to need to do 480 take away the 271, and then that will give us the missing number. Okay, so we're just going to rearrange the problem. So we're going to do 480 take away 271, which will then give us that final piece. Okay, we've just rearranged it. So as before, your turn to pause, your turn to work it out. We've got another 0 in the units here, so be careful with that one and have a go. When you're ready, when you've got an answer you're happy with, play the video. I will write it out quickly and we'll see if we match. Okay, 209 was the answer. Did you get it right? I hope you did that time. So 209, now we can check this answer, and it's always good to check your answers by working the other way. So if we think it's 209, that must mean that 209 add 271 equals 480. So we've got 200, so that's 400, and then we've got 71 and 9, which makes 80, so 480. So that's right. Okay, so it's always good to work the other way to check it, to make sure that you are correct, particularly when you've got tricky things going on in the method. Well done. Let's have a look at the last one. Okay, so we've got something take away 75 is 107. Something take away 75 equals 107. Okay, so it's a different layout again this time. Now I'm just going to draw out this triangle again because I think this might be useful to see. We have something, and if we take away our 75, okay, something take away 75, we get the 107. Okay, so we don't know what is up the top of the triangle there. Okay, we don't know what we take away. And remember, in a subtraction, the subtraction, the number that you start with in the subtraction is the biggest number, and that's what would go at the top of the bar model. So we can't fill in that box this time, but we can fill in the other ones. We do know that the two parts that make this number is 75 and 107. So we just need to work out what the total would be that we'd start with. So something, if you take away 75, you'd end up with 107, or indeed this number, take away the 107, you would end up with the 75. So looking at the bar model, what are we going to work out this time? The calculation we're going to work out is actually just a simple adding question. 75 add 107. So we're going to add our two bits to find our original total. So once again, your turn to pause, your turn to work it out. Then I will show you my way with the column method, and you can see if your answer matches mine. So 182 was the total. So that is the total of those two parts, which means that 182, if you took away 75, you would end up with 107. And if you wanted to check that, you could do 182, take away 75 in the column method, and you should end up with 107. I hope you got on all right there. And hopefully if you were feeling less confident as we worked down, you were feeling more confident as we moved along. Now we're going to have a look at 4 more questions together today, and these are balancing problems. So get ready for a bit of balancing. So I have 4 balancing problems here we're going to work out. I've got this one at the top, I've got this one, this fraction one here, and this tricky one at the bottom. We're going to work through them one at a time, just like we did with the other sheet, and between each turn you're going to work it out along with me and see if we can get the same answer. So the first one, we've got 127 add 232 equals 189 add something. So remember, we're thinking about these kind of bubbles, okay? This is like a pair of scales, okay? This doesn't equal 189 on its own. This equals 189 and whatever that missing number is there. All right, so you're imagining this as if it's balancing on some scales. Both sides need to be the same, okay? Because we've got an equals in the middle, okay? It's not a greater than or less than sign, it's an equal sign, which means this is the same as this, okay? So what do we need to do first? Now we've got one of the sides here with both numbers. So the starting point is to work out the total for this side, because then that total will be the same as the total for this side, and then we'll be able to work out the missing number. So there's kind of two parts to this, okay? So first part is to work out the total of this side, because we've got both numbers. That will tell us that it must be the total for this side too, and then we can work out the missing number. Okay, so two things to do in this problem. And let's work out this side first. So pause the video, add that up in the column method, and then you can play the video and see whether yours matches mine. Good luck. So we've got a total of 359. So 359 is the total for this side, and it's also the total for this side because it's a balancing problem. Both sides are equal. Okay, so we know that 359, 189 adds something needs to be 359. Okay, so what could we do to work out this missing number? How could we use the inverse? Think about the triangles. Think about the bar model. How would we work out this missing number here? We've got our total. We've got one of the bits, but how do we work this one out? We do a subtraction. So we're going to do the total, take away one of the pieces, and it will give us the other one. Okay, so you'll go again, time to pause, work out the answer, and then see if we've got the same. So the answer is 170. 189. If we added on 170, so if we went back the other way, we would get to 359. We can check that quickly. If we add on 100, we would have 289. And then if we added on 7 tens, 289, 299, 309, 312, so 19, sorry, 329, 339, 349, 359. Okay, so it does work. So that's the answer to the first one. We made it balance. We had to do 2 steps. Right, let's have a look at the next one. Now there are quite a lot of steps because these balancing ones have some of them have 2 steps to them, not just one. You might want to finish this video another day, or you might want to get it all done today, but we've just got 3 more to do, and the next one does have 2 parts, and then the other ones, the fraction one is a little bit simpler, and then the last one's a bit harder. So if you want to do this video in 2 parts, feel free, or let's continue. So for this one here, we have got, let's just move this up a little bit. Have a look at that one in a minute. So we've got 702, take away something, equals 258, add 165. So this one's very similar to the other one that we've just done, but the difference is we're not adding on both sides, but we're still going to start with the same starting point. So remember, both sides, the total needs to be the same for the whole thing, and it needs to be equaled, okay? Equal to each other. So first part, let's work out the total for this side because we've got both numbers, and it will also be the total for this side, and then we'll be able to work out the missing number. So time to pause and work out this addition, please. Right, so we've got the answer of 423. So remember, that's the total for this side. Running out of room a little bit here. 423. It's also the total for this side. So 702, take away something, is 423. So how can we work out this missing number now? So remember, what we can do is, because we can't take away nothing to find this answer, what we can do is 702 take away the 423, which will give us that part there. Okay, so your turn to work out 702 take away 423. Pause and have a go. Right, so the answer was 279. Now this one was quite hard because you couldn't do 2 take away 3. Remember, you can't flip the numbers. 2 take away 3. And so you go to the tens to exchange, and they can't help you out either. So you have to go to the hundreds. Now what you're not allowed to do is jump over and miss a column, okay? So I couldn't take the 100 and put it over here. So what you have to do is you have to take the exchange from the hundreds and take one of those hundreds to put with the tens. So that's why I had 100 here. And then the tens can help out the units. So I'm now going to remove one of the tens and leave 90. So I can put one of the tens with the 2 to make 12. Take that away, then I can take the tens away, then I can take the hundreds away. So 279 was our answer. There we go. So now we're going to have a look at the fraction question. Okay, I'm just going to fold this back so that we hide what we've done here, just so it's a little bit easier to see. Right, so 1/3 of 36 equals 1/2 of something. So again, because it's a balancing problem, we've got our bubbles. Okay, so both sides need to be equals. The answers need to be the same. So we always start with the side where we've got all of the numbers, okay, because that makes sense, that makes it easy. So let's work out this side. 1/3 of 36. Now, can we remember that fraction rhyme? It is only a 1 on top, so it does make it easier, but we might as well go through the fraction rhyme because it's a good time to remember it and practice it. So 1/3 of 36. So we divide by the bottom times by the top, and that way your fraction will hit the spot. So we take the big total number, that's the important one. You start with that. You divide by the bottom, divide by 3. You take the answer, and you times by the top, and then you'll end up with the correct answer. So you pause, you have a go, then play and see me doing it. So the answer is 12. We divided by 3 and then we times by 1, so the answer was the same, it stayed as 12. And we know that because 12 lots of 3 is 36, and you could count in threes to see how long it takes you to get to 36 if you didn't know that times table fact. But there are 12 threes in 36, so that helped me to work it out. So we now know the total for both sides. We know that this is 12 and this side needs to be 12. So I wonder if you can work it out now. Half of what equals 12? Okay, so you can kind of work backwards here if you'd like to. You can double 12 to get to where you start from, or you can think about what would you half, which number, if you cut it in half, would you end up with 12? Have a little think. I don't really need to write anything down for this, because this is one we can do in our head, because we can work backwards and double the answer to find out what the original total was. So just pause if you need to. I'll wait for 5 seconds and then I'll let you know the answer. So the answer is 24. Half of 24 is 12. We could have doubled 12 to get back to 24. There we go. That one was solved. That one wasn't too tricky, was it? So let's have a look at this last one. It's the last one we're doing together. The last one of the video. Okay, so we've got 287 equals 126, add something, take away 99. Tricky this one, because there's lots going on over here. Hard to know where to start. Now, I want you to think about this part here as being kind of separate to the 99 for a second. So we've got 126 add something. And then if you take away 99, you'll end up with 287. Okay, so the answer is over here, but that doesn't matter. We could move it over here if we wanted to. So 126, add something, then you take away 99 and you get 287. So another way to write this would be 126, add this mystery number, equals another mystery number, but then when you take away 99 you get to 287. Okay, so there's actually kind of two missing numbers we have to work out here when we write it out like that. So 126 add this box here, okay, equals something, but then when we take away the 99 this is where we end up. So if I had 2 bags of sweets, okay, one bag there's 126, and in another bag I don't know how many there are yet. So I've got 2 bags, so I know there's 126 in one of them, but I don't know the other one. Now that gives me a total number of sweets. But if I ate 99 of them, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? If I ate 99 of the sweets, I'm left with this as my total. Okay, so the way to approach this is to work backwards and to say, well, actually, if I didn't eat 99, how many would I have had? So if I hadn't eaten the 99 here, okay, what would my total have been? Because then I can work out the missing number. If I knew that this was 400, for example, then I could work out the missing number to add to 126. So in order to work out what my total was before I ate 99, I need to pretend that I didn't eat that 99. And so I need to do the opposite. So instead of taking them away and eating them, I'm going to add them back on again. and pretend that they are there. I'm going to turn back time and I'm going to add the 99 sweets, which I did eat, back onto this final answer, because it will tell me what I did have to start with. So I had lots of sweets, I ate 99, I ended up with 287. But if I took my 287, I added back on the 99 sweets that I ate, I will find out this number. Okay, so the first thing we need to work out is 287, add back on the 99. Okay, now I'm not going to work this out in the column method this time. We've done a lot of practice with the column method, but one of the reasons why I'm not going to work this one out in the column method is because this is very nearly 100. And actually I could just add on 100 and then just take away 1. That would probably be a much quicker way of doing it. So if you've got a number like 99 that is very close to the next big round number, then you could just, I'm just going to add on the round number and then take away the extra that I've added on. So I'm going to add 100 and then just take 1 off again, because that makes it easy. So what's 287? Add 100 and then take away 1. Pause it if you need to think about it. If you'd like to do the column method, go ahead, but you might find this method is quicker. So add 100, but then just take 1 away, because actually it's only 99. Pause and work it out. So 287, add 100 is 387, but then I need to take 1 away because actually it's only 99, 386. So that is what my sweetie total was. Let's just change pens to make it stand out. That's what the total number of sweets was before I ate my 99, because I've added them back on again now. So now we've got we can ignore this bit, and we now need to find out this number here, which is what the question wanted all along. We know 126 add something is 386. So what calculation do we need to do to work out that missing number? We need to take our total, 386. We need to take away the part that we have, 126, and that will leave us with the final part there. Okay, so remember this if it was in a bar model, 386 would be our total. We'd have 126 and we'd have another bit which we're trying to work out. Okay, so we're going to do 386, take away 126, and it will give us that one. All right, so last time to pause, last thing you need to work out. I'm going to actually work this out with the condensed column method this time, just for a change, but hopefully we'll still get the same answer. So over to you. So the answer was, of course, 260. So 126 add 260 equals 386. So if we look back up at our original problem, the 260 goes in here. So if we have 287, if we have 126 add this 260, but then we take away the 99, that's when we get the 287. So remember, what we did is we separated this part with the subtraction. We added back on the amount that we'd taken away, giving us an original total, so that then we could work out the two parts to make that total, and the missing part was 260. Well done. We've done lots of column method practice there. I hope that was helpful. I hope that was useful. This week you've got the little Year 3 objectives test to do at the end of your maths book, which is a mixture of all the things you've been doing in your textbook, your workbook over the last 7-8 weeks or so. Please let me know how you get on and whether you needed any help. If there is anything that you find really tricky, then remember you can look back at the previous videos to help you, or you can send me an email and I'd be happy to give you a little bit of support on any particular area. Remember there's the hot chili challenge, which has some different problems in, some balancing problems for you to have a look at. And there are the extension activities as well in the final column of the grid. So have a great week and I'll speak to you soon.